Okay, so welcome to days 3 and 4. We're going to do these together because it's kind of long and it's a lot of different stuff. So the first thing is, if something is even or odd as a function, that is not the same thing as if it's an even or odd degree, okay? An even or odd function has to do with its exponents and its graph, okay? You can look at either or. So if it's an odd degree, then you substitute a negative x and you wind up with a negative function, meaning if you plug in a negative x, you get a negative y as an answer. And if you remember that from Algebra 1 and geometry, if you negate the x and the y comes out negative, it's actually a reflection over the origin, okay? Meaning, if you look at your graph and you take your paper and turn it completely upside down and it looks exactly the same, then it has reflection about the origin, okay, or a rotation of 180. The cheat method is, if it has all odd exponents, it's odd. So look at this. It has a cube and a 1. 1 and 3 are both odd, therefore it's an odd function, okay? Even functions, same cheat, only this time they will have to have even exponents. So this is an x to the 4th, which is even, an x to the 2nd, which is even, and then the 1 really has an x to the 0, and that's also even, okay? The other way to do it algebraically is to look and substitute in a negative x, and if you just get the same function, meaning negative x gives you y, then it's an even function. And if you remember that symmetry from Algebra 1 and geometry, if you negate the x, you reflect on the y, meaning it's symmetric on the y. Whatever it looks like here, it looks like here, okay? Even and odd functions just deal with origin and y-axis symmetry. That's it, okay? So a Regents question that you would see would be read like this. Algebraically determine whether the function f of x is odd, even, or neither. So what I did was I substituted in a negative x and substituted it into the entire function, negative x in parentheses to the 4th, negative x in parentheses squared times negative 3, and then a minus 4. And when we start to simplify this, a negative to a 4th power is positive, a negative to a 2nd power is positive, and if you notice, this whole thing is exactly the same as this. So if this equals the function, then this equals the function, and now you see, I substituted in a negative x, and I got a positive y. That is a reflection on the y-axis, which tells me this is an even function, okay? And a check for that is to look at these. You have a 4, a 2, and an x to the 0, all even exponents, okay? But if they ask you to algebraically do it, you have to substitute in a negative x. That's algebraically, okay? So these are the cheat methods I was just talking about. Just look for your exponents, okay? So if you notice here, odd functions is because there's a 5, a 3, a 1. So that's odd. This only has a 1, but it's still odd. This has a 7 or a 3, all odd. So those are all odd functions, okay? Right here, this has a 4, a 2, or a 0, all even. A 2, even. A 10, a 2, even, all even functions, okay? And then this has an x to the 2nd, an x to the 1st, and an x to the 0. It has even and odd, so it's neither. This has a 1, but then it has an x to the 0, so it has odd and even, so neither. This has a 5, a 3, odd, odd, but then it has an x to the 0, even, so it's neither, okay? So I will leave these for you to try. and then we'll go over in class as part of our lesson in class, okay? This one we will do together, and then you can try 3 on your own, okay? So choose everything that applies. So this is going in opposite directions. Opposite directions told me something about the degree. It told me it should be odd, so it's odd, okay? The other thing is it's starting low and ending high. If it's starting low and ending high, then it is positive as a leading coefficient, E, okay? Now, if it's positive, it can't be negative. If it's an odd degree, it can't be an even degree. So now we're just looking at function. Odd functions reflect on the origin, even reflect on the y-axis. Well, is this flipping on the y-axis, or is this a problem that if I turn it upside down, it looks exactly the same? Yep, it looks exactly the same, so it's B. Okay? So you try number 3, and we'll go over that when you come into class so that everybody gets the same review again. Okay? And then in class, we will do the homework and classwork problems together. Okay? So we'll probably spend about 2 days on that, and then we'll get into the last part, the last unit here, writing equations, which we actually have done before. So this is really going to be a review of units 1, 2, and 3. Okay? So I'll do a video on this, or we will actually just do it as a review in class because it'll summarize everything. And it has plenty of problems for us to do together. Okay? And then that'll be it. We will review an exam. It's a pretty short unit. Okay? Have a great day.